But and also that's my 10th generation great grandfather. My 9th generation great grandfather was King Philip or Poe Metacom, King Philip of the King Philip Wars. And my 6th generation great grandfather was Simeon Simons, who was the George Washington's hand-picked bodyguard. And basically he's on the bicentennial coin in the town of Griswold, Connecticut. He's also, there's a portrait of him and George Washington in the Griswold Town Hall. That's King Philip's great-grandson. So that's my line coming down. And I just want to, thank you for having us down here. Like I said, we want to take and return the courtesy. Eagle Hawk has been up there in New England about 3 times now. So I mean, and of course he's a member of FANA. And FANA is the FANA, Federation of Aboriginal Nations of the Americas, of which I am the superior chief. And right now we have like 11 nations that are in FANA, and I think Eagle, you're next to the last one that came in. And we're growing all the time. And basically what FANA does is advise the Aboriginal Americans or the original inhabitants of this country of their rights. And you do not want to be federally recognized as a Native American. You have, as an Aboriginal American, you actually are in a different category. You come under Article 3 of the Constitution of the United States. You have been provided for, and they sold you a bill of goods by making you a Native American, because they've taken away all your Aboriginal rights and made you a Native American just like any other Native American who's born in this country. You don't have to be Indian to be a Native American. All you have to be is born in this country. So basically what we do is advise the Aborigines, the Aboriginal people, or the American Indians, or the American Aborigines, of their rights under the Constitution of the United States, under Article 3. A lot of these laws that pertain to the rest of the people, they don't pertain to you. And so basically you have been provided for. It's just that they never told you that you were provided for.
That's right.
And the laws that were written for you. They weren't written for the Native Americans. If you read them laws, the first thing that they mention are the American Indians or the American Aborigines, and they mention the Alaskan Natives, and they mention the Native Americans. And those are the, what you call the tribes that are federally recognized. So just to give you a little idea of what Eagle Hawk is into, and what we're trying to do for our people. And these are the tribes that are not federally recognized. You have a lot more rights than what you realize. And so I want to thank you for inviting us down here. And, hope to see you back up in Rhode Island again. I know you'll be back up there. Does anyone else want to speak? And as a Sagamore, that's the type. Sagamore is the chief over the chiefs. So I'm the chief of the chiefs, and superior chief. I'm the head chief of FANA. And I guess they did that because of my heritage, of who I am. Because, like I said, if it weren't for the Massasoit, you wouldn't have lost this country.
Thank you, Aquini. I am Popumaquakanakis. I'm Sachem of the Pokanoket tribe of the Pokanoket Nation. And I would like to thank you for having us down in your lands and for having us down here. I would also like to give you our tribal feather. Thank you. Thank you. So we are as I said, we are very honored to be part of this, and our spirits, even when we travel home, our spirits will be with you. Stay strong in your journey, okay? We are a strong people, and it is important what you are doing. And the stories that have been handed down to you through the generations, you need to come together and you need to share those stories. And those stories need to be passed on. And I would like to especially talk to the women. Our nation, we had many women sachems. And I know you've heard the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Women, as American Indian women, we have a big responsibility on our shoulders, and we need to pass down to our children. We need to keep the traditions alive. We need the warriors, behind us. I love that you were talking about the water. We are the keepers of life. We are, the keepers of the water. That's very important, and I'm glad that, you brought that up. So I would just like to say, we have a word, and if my cousins were here, he would always end with this, but we had a word when we fought, and we had what we called Painisi. They were our elite warriors, and when we were fighting, they would yell, Ayutash! And that means stand firm. Ayutash!
Thank you. How you doing, everybody? My name is Nikot Amansakwaf. I am the chief of the Amansakwaf Kiskiak clan of the Tsanikimuko Nation. And like you've already heard, we're very grateful for being part of this, being the first annual. We look forward to coming back. This is, and I'm not sure if you really gravitate to how important what's happening here today is, because the first step is just coming together. That's the first step. And the next thing is like really taking that opportunity to learn your history and then passing that on. And I'll share with you a personal story, and the Chiefs have heard me talk about this several times. When I had a conversation with my oldest son, and I explained to him who he was, to explain to him that he came from royalty, I saw his chest poke out. That's a completely different conversation than saying you came from slaves. You're a king. I can tell you, since that day, the way that he has lived his life is as a king.
Thank you. Yes, I'm calling you. Come on. At least I warned you.
Yes, you did. I don't have to borrow anybody's war club to beat you with it. OCO.
OCO.
My name is Lone Eagle, and I am the war chief for the Anasazi, Northeastern Band of Cherokee Lenape Indians in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. All right, stop laughing. One of the things that I've learned during my journey is that sometimes things happen that you don't expect. I was just part of the tribe, just doing what I was doing, and something happened that opened up the door for a war chief position, and they asked me, because of my background, I've been a law enforcement officer for quite a few years. And they asked me if I was interested in the job, and I said, sure. Now, when I was a child, this was not something that you could aspire to, because most men are war chiefs, not women. So, the glass ceiling is breaking, ladies. This is something you can now aspire to, right? Very good. And your children can actually aspire to this as they grow up. So keep your traditions, but keep your mind open also. Put the best person for the job in the job, male or female. Okay? Thank you again for having us. We really appreciate being here. And you have a great day. And thank you for all the food. It was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that.
OCO. My name is Darius Shea Two Bears Ross. In our language is Taliona Kosa, Chief Kosa, Principal Chief of the Anajalagi Onisalaji Northeastern Band of Cherokee Lenape. It's one of my red chiefs. We actually have two red chiefs, they're both women. Okay, and I also have a war woman. Our tribe is as most tribes on the East Coast are matrilineal. Okay, meaning that we answer to our clan mothers. Okay, I could not be a chief unless I had the approval of our clan mothers. That being said, we have a tribal council, okay, which also answers to our clan mothers. Okay, our go-between the clan mothers and the tribal council is our war woman. All right, she'll bring our messages. She's a runner, but she also tells us what our clan mothers expect to be done, or what they want done, or what they can see to be done. It's my job as principal chief is to get it done within the political means that we have to work with. So that gives you a little bit outlook on how the structure, our governmental structure works. Other than that, Eagle Elk has been a fine brother. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have a fine chief. He looks after you people, and he worries about you, and he's on the right road. He's on the right red road. And it was an honor for him to ask us to come down here today and be a part of your family. And I appreciate it for having us. And hospitality is Southern hospitality, y'all. What can I say? I love it. It's been, the last time I was in North Carolina, I was like 16 years old. So it's been a long time I've been down here. And it's been nice. It's a nice refresh. And when you're walk and you're learning about each other, I want you to remember that you're not only doing your research for yourselves and your families and reconnecting with your tribal roots, but you're also preparing the road for the next 7 generations. It's very important. What we do is for our children's children. And whatever gains we make is for the survival of them and knowing who they are. All right? Regain your language. Language is culture. Language is everything. Okay? Try to divest yourself from a colonial mindset. We have a lot of habits we picked up over the years. All right? Some of them, they're not good. That's not our way. That's not the way we walk. It's not the way we talk. All right? It's not the way we share with each other. So I want to leave that on your heads. I hope all you'll walk well. And thank you again for having me. Wanishi, Wanishi, Wanishi.
Thank you, Chief.
Hello, everyone. My name's Kwakwikanek. That's in my language. It translates to running deer. I got that name when I was very small because I used to run around a lot. And then when I got older, I can't run that much anymore, and I got the name Snowflower. But some of us in our tribe have more than one name, so that's a common thing. But I just want to say that it's just been wonderful being here with you, and I spoke to a lot of different people. Everybody's just so friendly. I don't know, it must be the South, because no matter who you say hello to, they stop and talk, and I don't know, I'm not so used to that, because like home, it's a little more difficult to get to know people and have them talk to you so easily, and it's just wonderful to be here, and I'm so happy we came. And I just wanted to say, in our tribe, we have a tribal government. We have a royal council of 7 in our Sagamore, and I'm the head of that council of 7. And we do a lot of work. We're always working. So I know that you have a lot of work to do, and you're just feeling like it's a lot, and you're just starting. But just keep at it, because it's really worth it. We're always working and trying to make ourselves better and getting more members involved, and it's difficult, but it's really worth it. And I think one of the hard things is to get the children, to have the parents bring their children to events, and the teenagers, and it's really important, because when us older people pass, we have to have those all the kids know the culture so that it can be carried on. And the only other thing I want to talk about is I never drove through North Carolina except on like the edge on 95 once, but we came through the middle and I had never seen a cotton field in my life. And and the first one I was like, a cotton field. Wow, and I thought it looked beautiful. And then I saw another one and then a bigger one, and then, you know, my heart started to ache a little because you know, it's a cotton field, but I started thinking of all the other things that go with cotton fields or did. And I just, you know, I feel for you, you know, I really do. My grandpa was from Virginia, it's not too far from here. But he always said he was free. And coming down here and seeing those cotton fields, I really could hear him saying it in my ear. So I just wanted to pass that on. Anyway, thank you all for being here. We're really happy.
Deborah's her mother's my first cousin, and of course, the Sachem is my youngest daughter. So we had a lot of Sachem, women Sachems, even in the time of King Philip and the King Philip when the Pilgrims came here. And some of the women chiefs were more feared than the men. And, but I just wanted to share this with you because this is the portrait of my great-grandfather with George Washington. I showed some of you people this here. And this is King Philip's great-grandson. He's also, I have the bicentennial coin because I showed some of you people, but I wanted to share this with you. She comes from that same line. That's our heritage. So we didn't have to go back and prove to anyone who we were. They wrote about my mother's people and my father's people. And they have to disprove it. That's the bottom line. We don't have to prove anything. They know who we are. They know who you are too. Make no mistake about it. They know who you are.
Thank you, Chief, for letting us.
Thank you all our family, Sagamore, all the chiefs. Thank you. Have a couple of more speakers here. We have Rosanna and we have Little Bear, Shauna. So I'm gonna let you go first, okay? And then I'm going to say the last little bit so we can lead into the dedication for Two Bears.
Hello, I'm Rosanna Stewart Lindorfer, and we're from the Stewart family. We're part of the Tuscarora Nation. Our family and our people have been in North Carolina for more than 2,000 years. Originally, we came through the Appalachian Mountains from what is better known today as Kentucky into North Carolina, and we were here before the original white men moved us out, and we moved to West Virginia, to the 5th Stewart Indian Reservation in Keystone, West Virginia, and we received the name of the reservation, which is Stewart, S-T-E-W-A-R-T. And the reason why I spell it is my grandfather said they took everything, but they won't take our name. And we must spell it correctly, because this is all we have left. Our family has played a very big part in North Carolina history, especially in the Apex, New Hill area. My 2 times great-grandfather, Tommy Stewart, was instrumental in how Friendship of North Carolina was able to live in peace. He brought the peace pipe and they smoked the peace pipe together in true Native American style, coming together to live both Native, free black, or black slaves that were free, and also the white settlers. And we smoked the peace pipe together so that we could live in freedom. Where other areas had problems, our area did not. And my grandfather was the only blacksmith that worked iron in the area, and he provided shoeing horses, mules, he made wagon wheels, he did all that kind of stuff, and people, even white men, came to give him work because he was the only one in the area that did that. But we had to live in a Native American community because there was nobody else that wanted us or allowed us to take part in their resources. So we had to provide our own. So New Hill for us represents tremendous history. The original church that we go to is Mount Zion Baptist Church. It just celebrated its 154th anniversary, and all of our founding, the six different family member surnames are part of the instrumental in being a part of that church being there today. And well, there's a lot to say, but what I want to tell you is we're working on a project there in New Hill. It was my grandfather's original house. It's sitting on Stewart Road. It's the last of the remaining property, and it's the oldest piece of property. It's more than 100 plus years old, and it's going to be the first Native American museum, walking museum, where you can walk around and see the history of your people and your family. And when that happens and we open it, I'd like to invite all of you to come for its dedication, to walk on the land that my ancestors walked on, and to be a part of that, because their blood, sweat, and tears is in that land. And I want all of our Native brothers, no matter what nation you're from, to come together, because all of us share more than one background of people. So, and we share one blood. So, out of the blood, one blood flowed all the nations. Remember that. I didn't write it. That's biblical. Our Creator did. And it's so true. It's so true. If you don't know, you can feel the peace here. More than anything, you don't even know the people, but you're surrounded and you're close by blood. I want to tell you just one last thing. I'm not going to hog up the mic, but last week it was historic for the Native Americans in our community and across the nation. Apex, North Carolina recognized Indigenous Peoples Day. That was the first time a city where our people walked ever gave us credit for ever being here. And I told them, this is what I told them when I accepted the proclamation for Indigenous people. I said, my family, all of my ancestors are quieted. Their voices are quieted by the grave. I said, but today, I stand on the shoulders of all those who went before us. And from their voices, I cry and say, thank you. Thank you for recognizing what we have always known. Thank you. Our ancestors are standing tall, even in their graves. So we have so much to be proud of, no matter where we are. See, we're an inclusive people, not exclusive. We have to remember that. It doesn't matter to me what tribe you're from. If you have Indian blood, you're my brother or my sister, and we have love for you. And so I just want to say that. And my Native American name is Howling Wolf. So in the end of every one of my conversations with my family, I give the wolf cry. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you for the opportunity.
Good afternoon. My name is Channel White. My surname is Smith. I come from a little place up the coast, about 3 hours up north, a little place called Piney Woods, North Carolina. It is in between Jamesville and Plymouth, North Carolina. I am Tuscarora, and I am also Mattamuskeet Machapunga. It's funny, he called this one. And he knows I'm picking on him because he found us. We weren't lost. And I had seen him on Facebook and seen him on Facebook. He had, he's got my mother's last name. He's got my mother's maiden name, Pierce. Friends him. Okay, we're friends. All right. But I'm still watching. I'm watching. I'm just watching. I'm creator, whatever it is, you do it. I'm not touching nothing. I ain't seen enough crates. And I'm being honest. So, what happens? My mom, I've seen this good-looking man that came with this mohawk, and his name is Pierce, and and I'm going, oh, okay. And he'll be here, and I want you to meet him because we need to talk. Okay, Mom. What do you say to your mother who's clan mother? But okay. So I'm here. So what did I tell you? This is my brother. This is my family. You're my family. We talk. You know Uncle Artie and Aunt Kathy? Yeah. I do. My family. So what I'm saying is, when you get that feeling, blood recognizes blood. Blood never lies. Blood tells truth. So when you get that feeling, when you get that hair raising up behind your neck, answer it. Because you're going to miss something if you don't. All right? We good? Now, kaino, all my relations.
I want to say something in reference to what the Sagamore was saying about the Native American, American Indian, Aboriginal. I notice a lot of folks, when we hear Aborigines or Aboriginal, we think of people from Australia. Well, the records in the colonial records, lots of times in law, in these treaties and other documents that the colonial people was writing, they described us as Aboriginal. And there's actually documents that says Aboriginal American. That's what they called us. They didn't call us Native American. The first Native Americans were actually Irish. Another story. We're Aboriginal Americans. If you want to use another name besides that, I use indigenous. If I say Native American, I'm doing it for the sake of conversation because I see people look at me really confused. But in law, we're Aboriginal Americans. We're the first inhabitants of this place. And you're from here, so I know the folks who we grew up with, the kind of looks you get. If you have Native blood in you, you're Native. I'm saying Native, okay, because we're having conversation for the sake of conversation, like I just said. If you have the drop of the blood in them, then you're family. All this percentage and all that's all Bureau of Indian Affairs talk. That's what they use to divide us. When we talk about the Americas, we're talking about from the bottom to the top. All of our family below the imaginary line and above. We are Aboriginal inhabitants of this land. Don't matter how small the blood or how great. If I start talking, I'm greater than you. That's a sign that you're talking to somebody that's colonized. You probably want to run away from that person. So let me say this right here. Songi stakwea chufurufa. Skarure akumataka. Roshutyo kie. Basically, I am Eagle Elk from the Tuscarora to Cape Fear in the land of our ancestors. Surrounded by Ekwewe, Indian people, whether you call yourselves that or not. You wasn't born in Ireland, even though you may have some Irish ancestry. So just because you have Irish ancestry doesn't make you Irish. Go to the pub and ask them in Wilmington. If you have a drop of African blood, doesn't make you an African, just means that you share the ancestry. You're born here. So if you're from this land, what did that make you? Now, if we start talking about our ancestry and who we actually come from, the reason why I had Shauna and Rosanna speak is because we want to bring all our families from each point together up under one banner, one constitution. We were split in the 1700s, so we have hundreds of years of fragmentation everywhere. We got in where we could fit in. If you was light enough, then you blended in with the whites. If you was kind of in the middle, then you hung with the middle. If you was dark enough, then of course you was in the black community. A lot of us grew up like that. A lot of us claim that. And a lot of us really don't understand what black is. You have people in Fiji right now fighting the out of Africa theory because people are trying to make them into who they're not, just like they do us, as far as Fiji. Your Polynesians were doing the same thing. Now, when I talk to some of our family out in the Hawaiian Islands, they don't care how you look. As a matter of fact, my son talked to a guy, a Hawaiian. He's from out that way. He's over here because he does tattoos. So they was talking. We happen to do the DNA test. Shows a little speck of South Pacific Asian. They're ready to claim us already. So I'm just saying, if you have a drop, I would say explore your ancestry. We come from some good people. I'm just letting you know, without going all into detail, because I know time is kind of slipping away from us. Now we're getting ready to do a tree planting memorial for James Two Bears Webb. He was with us when we made our first trip up to Rhode Island. Now this process with our family right here is just because you inquire about becoming a part doesn't mean you're going to become a part. There's investigations that have to take place. They're investigating whoever's making these inquiries. Well, we was also investigating too. So it was on both parts. So in the end, it became a very good fit. I've seen so much crazy on the internet and on YouTube. We have to make sure that everybody is who they are, right? So James Two Bear Webbs, he made the first trip with us up there. When we came back, well, let me tell you this real quick. His favorite story was talking about his time when he went to the Sundance out to the Lakotas. Because the energy was so different than what he experienced here at the powwows. So different from the people that are related to us in certain communities that don't want to acknowledge you. So when he went out there, coming from this little place here, they actually asked him to, I think, lead with the, I can't tell it like him, but they asked him to be one of the leaders to lead in the Sundance out there. And it just blew his mind how they just took him in like that. So when we went to Rhode Island, we experienced the same love from our family right here. So that's all he talked about. One day he told me, he said, Lavelle, I hope I live long enough to see this come together. Because he was right there from the beginning, knew what we was working on. And he said, I hope I'm here long enough to see this coming together. So he's with me in spirit. I think about him a lot. I know I'm not the only one. His family is out here. I'm gonna call his children up here and his granddaughter up here right now. Let's see. Tanya, all the family, y'all come on up. I'm sorry, I'm reading from a phone, but my brain doesn't cooperate sometimes. Do we have? No. Oh, be careful. We're going to present a feather for our chief, and we're going to plant a cedar tree for him. The feather was made and it was wrapped a specific way. I'm going to read this to you. So the feather honoring James Two Bear Webbs is a turkey feather. It's bound with leather, which is wrapped 7 times. The 7 wraps honor the 7 original powerful nations and represent the 7 directions of our people. The north, south, east, west, up, down, and inside. The feather is dressed with 3 pieces of turquoise representing the 3 children. James, Ava, and Monica. Two Bears loved his family and his tribal family. All he wanted to do was see all of us come together. That was his wish. He was totally committed to the native cause, serving our tribe as chief of elders. We present this feather honoring his memory and service to his daughter Tanya, our chief of council. So we are honored to share this path with him forever.
Chief Eagle Elk kind of stole all of what I was going to say. I'm not going to say a whole lot because I'm afraid that I'll get really emotional if I do. I would like to thank everybody for being here. Chana was talking a little while ago about that feeling that you get, you know, it just gives you like a shiver down your spine when you get amongst your kin. My dad was super happy last year when we went to Rhode Island and he experienced the camaraderie and fellowship that was shown there. Nobody was looking at what color somebody, you know, was. Everybody was accepted. Everybody was family. And it gave us all a feeling that we really loved, we really appreciated. We just can't express how great and awesome it was. So he really just wanted to see all of us come together, get along, and be on one accord. He would have been extremely proud and happy to see what is going on and today and just with us in general. So I'm gonna stop talking because I'm gonna I'm gonna lose it if I keep going. But that's all he wanted, was to see the fellowship, just honest fellowship. So, thank you.
Granddaughter Erin. So if you could just introduce your names. We're going to go down the road here. So come on up, just introduce your names. Who you are to people.
He was my granddad. I'm Aaron Webb, and yeah.
My name is Leon Jackson Lloyd Jr. I was Jim Webb's only nephew. Thank you for coming.
My name is Winnie Webb Lloyd. I am his only sister.
Hey y'all, I'm Janine. I am one of his twin nieces. That's my sister Jo. She don't say anything, but she never does. But what Tanya, his daughter, was saying was true. This was his dream. So I'm glad to see y'all here.
All right. I want to thank everybody for making the trip. I know you came a long ways. We're going to end everything after we plant the tree. We're going to do a round dance, a blanket dance first. Then we're going to do a round dance after that. Our round dance is going to be led by our family right here. We're going to join in and follow the lead. It's fun. Believe me, I did it. All right? All right, so we're getting ready to do the tree planting right now, okay?